Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Harrison. You're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back to the basics. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everyone this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Pocket Jack Comics, who have books like House of the Golden Princess and White Lily. And you can find their books on pocketjackcomics.com. And he has a Kickstarter going on. So if you click the link, you will find Preston Poulter's Kickstarter. And, whether you like, certain things or not certain things, there's no disputing the art in his books is some of the best art in comics, and he does not skimp out on the money on it. And the art is absolutely beautiful. So you might not love the genre that he does, but that art is exquisite. And I promise you, you'll look at that art and you'll love the book. But enough about that, because I have with me my good friend and somebody who's been on a bunch of times, Chris Brown.
Yeah.
So let's go.
What's going on? So you said Pocket Jack.
Yes, Pocket Jack Comics.
Yep. Yeah, I got a couple of their books.
I mean, the art is fantastic on his books. He does not skimp out on art. I can tell you that. But enough about that. I like Preston, despite his gold attitude. We're gonna slowly convert it to become a crypto bro. It's all right, everybody. We're working on it. But obviously you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
You have right now you're in pre-launch of the Fountain of the Shadow, a Jake Bishop story. But before we get into that, and we're going to talk about that, why don't you quickly introduce who you are? Because some people know you, some people forget. I got a lot of guests on, and so I just like to get everybody on the same page before we really dive into what you got coming up, I guess. Is a good way to put it.
Excellent. Name's Chris Brown, obviously. I only slap you if you don't make me a sandwich. And I make comic books sometimes. Mostly I do novels and board games, role-playing games. Play them on stream. Just like hanging out, talking to people. I've been in business for, almost 15 years now, making board games, writing books. It's kind of something I'm good at. So, yeah, I specialize in horror, but I love action, adventure, and ready to get everything out there.
Alrighty. So obviously that's the quick introduction. Laughing Rogue, Slaughterville. There's just some names to throw out there. I'm sure the Kickstarter link for those who are interested is in the description down below. You are more than welcome to click it, and you'll be directed to everything that you need to be directed to. But I do want to get into what you got coming out, because you are in pre-launch, but you have another novel coming out. I believe it is a mystery noir book. Is the genre, and it's obviously Jake Bishop. And so what is the basic premise of this book? Because you're in pre-launch, and why don't you give us the 401 on it?
Okay. Without giving too much away and doing all the spoilery things like I like to do, this book is all about a detective who thought he was just getting a routine case of checking out a missing item from a warehouse on the docks. It leads into a world-spanning adventure that's been called Indiana Jones Meets the Mummy with Brendan Fraser. So if you're into that style of 1940s pulp action, this is going to be right up your alley. Has a strong Lovecraftian theme to it, but because there's magic, there's mysticism, there's cults, and all good fun.
So let's dive into it a little bit, because obviously we got a PI. So I don't know necessarily his background fully, but obviously he's a private investigator. And then, he his job is AKA he's a ditch wizard, which I'm presuming is just slang for finding things. I don't think he is a magical wizard by any stretch of the imagination. I could be mistaken. If I am, feel free to correct me at any given point here, but he makes a living finding things. And he's kind of on a mission, I guess, where he gets wrapped up in a conquest where he's got a dying friend who's reaching out for help. His wife is involved. There's other people involved. There might be a cult involved. There's a professor. There's probably a black arms dealer. There's a merchant tell you, giving you a good price, and you could sell your spindles back to him if you so choose. Hey, I am just, I'm just saying it. and we don't know why the merchant is not infected yet. But
That's-
anyway, if you shoot the merchant, he does not come back.
no.
So this is terrible. This is terrible. So that's basically what's going on. So like, what
I'm gonna go play Resident Evil now for some reason.
I don't know. I mean, I did buy a mansion in the middle of a wooded area in like the Midwest, you know, in a city that might be named after an animal, and I decided to have my police force have acronyms.
Yep.
and it's A and B. This is.
It's always so hard to get around in there. You need all the different keys, the metals.
Oh my God! Just I love the Spencer Mansion. I love the Spencer Mansion. I cried when it blew up.
If I ever had the millions, I would build a replica and then charge people to come in, and we would have a full actor experience.
So would you do the Chris story, the Barry story, the Jill Valentine story, or the James Marcus story? Because that's the one that, and for those who don't know, James Marcus is a prick. He's an absolute prick. I love James Marcus for all the wrong reasons. It's terrible. It's just terrible. But having said that, yeah, obviously, getting back to your book, I mean, what prompted this book? Because this is a little bit outside, I guess, what you traditionally do with Slaughterville and some other stuff that you've done, because it's more mystery noir. It's not as much horror, I feel.
Right. Yeah. There's little bits of horror in there, but it's more definitely your action adventure style of story. And yeah, Jake he used to be in the Naval Intelligence. And then when he came back out of the Navy, he tried to be a cop, but they, well, I mean, all cops are corrupt in the noir universes. So he quit there and he became a private investigator. Now the Ditch Wizard thing, he has magic, but he's only good at a few things. Like he specializes in a couple of things. And one of them is, well, being able to locate and unlock things. So that's his deal, which you'll see as you go through. But where this came from was, do you know Doc Blaylock?
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay, so he had his book, "Damn Dirty Thing" is what it was called, and I read through it, and we were on just a private chat, he and I, with a couple of other people, and I said, I've been wanting to try, my hand at a different style. Would you mind if I wrote the story? And he said, yes, go ahead, feel free, run with it. And what was neat is after I finished this, I handed it to him and I said, I want you to take a look through it. Tell me if you like it. And he goes, you've done things with this character that I never thought of. He said, I'm going to take some of these and use them if you don't mind. I said, well, go ahead. I don't care. He goes, but we're going to treat yours as like an alternate timeline because your Jake is different than mine. Yours is more, Indiana Jones style, where his is more Sam Spade grounded, stick to the city style. So that's where we're going to differ in ours.
Let's actually talk about this. So what is that like to kind of take somebody's character or take a piece of their character? Because it's interesting, right? Because some people are very protective of their stuff. I'm protective of my IP. I mean, by definition, I don't like when somebody takes a clip. It bothers me. And I'm very protective, and I don't know how other people are, but what is that like for you? Because having somebody say, cool, I'm fine with you doing that and run with it, and then also getting to do a book and do your own thing and not it being territorial, because it could definitely be upsetting. It could, I mean, I'll just state it. If you might get controversial, it could be litigation. It could be, a bitch fit is another word to use here that could occur. It could be fights. It could be breaking of friendships. It could be breaking of alliances in comics, for lack of a better word. And so what is that like? Because it's a rare thing when somebody allows you to do that, if that makes any sense.
And naturally, that's everybody's worry, right? But my thing was this. I talked to him several times, and it was before I even wrote one word, He and I discussed the entire thing, what it was going to look like, what my plans were. Now, some of the plans changed, and that's a whole other story, but how do I say this? It was a very simple and easy process for us because he told me after I send it to him, I said, are we going to work out a profit sharing or something like this? He goes, no, run with it. Take it. It's yours. I said, okay. Simple as that. He's never given me any indication that there was, that there was anything else aside of it. It's been smooth sailing. Now I know that some people do get a bit squirrely, is the nice way to put it, about their properties, and I understand it, which is why, again, I wanted to make sure that things were absolutely clear and understood what was going on with this. He even wrote the foreword in it, so I mean, can't argue there.
No, I find it interesting because it's a rare thing, right? Where somebody says, "Go take it and run," and I don't want any piece of it. But there's also acknowledgement where obviously there's a different timeline completely, and it's just a different interpretation. It's almost like there's been so many adaptations and adaptations of Sherlock Holmes that you can make the argument that, since so many people have written Sherlock Holmes, there really isn't any true timeline of Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
And if somebody's writing and wrote 6 Sherlock Holmes books, it's their Sherlock Holmes universe. That doesn't mean that Sherlock Holmes is not on Baker Street, but every Sherlock Holmes and every writer of Sherlock Holmes has a different trait that they have for their Sherlock, for lack of a better word. And so, and I mean, you can make the same argument about James Bond too.
Yeah, I have. Once I found out Sherlock Holmes was public domain, I have Sherlock Holmes in Slaughterville, but Sherlock Holmes there is more of a mantle that's passed on to the greatest detective of that age, of that generation. So as long as the one person is there, he's the Holmes. That's who gets the honorific, the title of Sherlock Holmes.
The most interesting adaptation of Sherlock Holmes I saw was an anime called Moriarty the Patriot. It takes the complete different, where Moriarty was an orphan with his brother Liam, and they killed the Moriartys, and then one of the Moriartys went with them. The 3 brothers then, so the 2 adopted brothers, and the one who killed their parents, and the older brother or the younger brother then took the Lord and became Lord Moriarty. And then they're trying to unite the UK and trying to bring the upper Lord class closer to the citizen class. And the whole idea is that Sherlock Holmes in that is a pawn for Moriarty. But it's an adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant anime, and it's so British, and it doesn't look like an anime, but it is. And it's a brilliant, brilliant anime because it's all about, cat and mouse and detective work. And you really get to see Sherlock Holmes be, I don't know, he's not the main character, but he's not the antagonist. He's the protagonist by definition.
Really?
Not the main character. Yeah. I think so he's the good guy, but he's not the main character. You're not rooting for him. It's a weird dynamic, but we talk about public domain, right? Of that, and it's such an interesting adaptation because you're taking it and you're flipping it upside down, and you're showing Sherlock Holmes on the defensive and not on the offensive as the main character following Sherlock Holmes. You're following Moriarty, the enemy and the main enemy of Sherlock and all his foes. So
is he still treated as the bad guy, Moriarty?
Oh yeah, he falls on the sword purposely to unite he's the good guy in the sense that he gets the Lord class and the citizens class closer together, and that's the objective. But he's the bad guy,
right?
I don't know if that makes any sense. So kind of like Code Geass with Lelouch. Lelouch unites and solves the problem by making himself the #1 enemy to unite the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still the number one enemy. But you united the world, and you got equality in a certain aspect. And that's kind of what happens in that. But brilliant anime, so intellectual, so. But it takes a very different opinion about Sherlock Holmes. But the reason why I bring this up is that it's public domain. And so what is this? Isn't a public domain character that you're writing about, but you have the right to do it, and it's
Right.
yours. And that's what's so interesting. I find it fascinating. And it's also the idea where it's acknowledged, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not acknowledged in his universe. It's just an alternative version of that. It's almost like I can't think of a book. Is Jack Reacher? Is there a bunch of different Jack Reachers? Technically,
I
didn't
don't.
Amazon do something with Jack Reacher, or was that Jack Ryan?
Yeah, no. Well, they did both, but Jack Reacher is on Amazon, and then there's the Tom Cruise one.
There was 2 of those, right?
Yeah, 2 Tom Cruise ones, and then 3 seasons of Reacher on Amazon. I think it's 3.
I mean, if you have Amazon, everything is everything. If you have Amazon Prime, anything mostly Amazon publishes is free. But anyway, not the point here. The reason why I bring this up is that I would say that those 2 Jack Reachers are not in the same universe.
Right.
It's kind of like the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale is
Mhm.
not canon, but it's also not canon compared to like the DC universe.
Right.
But then they reboot that anyway. Like I don't know. I just find it fascinating, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right. That's pretty much what this is I tried to keep the soul of the character there, right? Who he is, what would motivate him. But where Doc's take is more focusing on the minuscule, on the detective work, mine focuses on the action and adventure. So while there's still some detective work there, it's more cinematic, I guess is the best way for me to put it. That's the way I could put it into words. If you like things like The Rocketeer or like we said, The Mummy, Jewel of the Nile, that style of movie, that was going through my head when I was doing this type of book.
So obviously, I don't want to dive too much into the book because
Please.
I don't want to ruin too much of it, right? I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but because there's actually a lot more interesting things I think we could talk about regarding it and dive in a little bit more into the business side of it because you have an existing property, even though this is an alternative take, and so that also because I mean, you have this book already published, but there's a different take on it, and what is that like too? Because you're going to naturally potentially capture some of the people who say, I want more of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because anytime you have an alternative, it's no different than if, a TV show gets a book adaptation to continue the adventure. You're naturally going to capture people out of that. And
Right.
so what is that like even on a marketing level? Because it's not, and I understand it's indie, right? It's indie comics, books, things like that. But there is some funneling that way. If somebody
Right.
says, I like this book and I want more of it, and now there's a novel out. And even though it's slightly different, the character Jake Bishop. Jake Bishop, if Jake Bishop has a whiskey on the rocks, he's not going to not have a whiskey on the rocks in your book. I mean, that's a character trait of his. His trait, his quirks, his tics and twitches are not going to change all that much from the comic to the book to the novel to anything else. So what is that like for you? Because that's what's also really interesting is that you to some degree have a natural built audience in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously that's going to help. My main thing is pushing both my book as well as his because I put links out for his and I made sure that they knew on the campaign the inspiration for it was that book, and then I posted it and I made I think I made pretty clear where it came from. Now, again, if they like the Jake Bishop stories and they like that style of character, they're going to naturally be drawn to it. And I'd hope I do it justice. That's what That's what my main goal is. As long as I can honor the spirit of the character.
And then obviously there's a lot of other stuff going on too with this. Is that obviously, I mean, it's a novel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also very different too. And I mean, I don't think there's much of a challenge because if you're reading comic books, I don't think it's much of a jump to go from a comic book to a novel. Unless I'm wrong, there could be. I mean, maybe there is. I don't know. I think it's harder to go from a movie to a novel, to be quite honest. I think it's harder to go from a movie to a comic book. I think that it's easier to go from a novel to a movie or a comic book to a movie. I think a movie is going up. I think a comic book is going down. And it's kind of like shifting down gear versus shifting up gear. If that makes any sense. So I don't know if you feel that way because I feel like it's a linear move.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because I've tried my hand at writing comic books, and I can get the story and the plot down, obviously, because that's kind of what I'm good at. But writing comics takes a different mindset because you have to write like it's a screenplay. So instead of giving extreme and vivid descriptions, you're giving stage directions. And I found that my personal style is more geared towards the novelizations, and so on. But yeah, absolutely. Going from a movie down is dangerous only because if you add something, because a lot of people say the book's better than the movie, but that's usually the reverse. If the book was
I
out,
wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about just on a media level, not even a writing level. I was talking about a media level going because it's so if you're reading the novel, right? This is how I feel. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. As a consumer, it's easier for me to go from a novel to a comic book or a comic book to a novel because I'm reading it, right?
Okay.
I'm staying in the same reading thing. It's harder for me to go say, I just saw, Fantastic Four in the movie theater, and now I'm going to go read Fantastic Four because I'm shifting down, right? Because it's harder to shift down and actually have to put energy and focus versus clicking a button on my television. And that's what I was just on a consumer level. That's why I think that going from a comic to a novel is easier. Now, I think a novel does require a little bit more focus than a comic, but I don't think the focus is. I think if you need 5% focus for a movie, you need 90% focus for a comic.
That is actually a very good point, because a movie is almost a passive experience where you already have everything shown for you. Whereas if you're reading a novel or if you're reading a comic book, it's a more active experience. Because like you said with the Fantastic Four, if you take the same story as the movie, put it into comic book form, your brain has to add the quote unquote animation in between panels. You have to use your analytical skills and your creative thinking.
You got to turn the page if you buy it physically. It's so hard.
Right. Well, again, I just mean like even from panel to panel, your brain has to fill in the gap that's there as opposed to the movie, which it plays it out linearly. But yeah, you don't want to get paper cuts. Thank God they should go back to newsprint.
You've read Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
Watchmen's a hard book to read.
Absolutely it is.
Brilliant. Loved it. Great. But man, it's a hard book to read. It's a heavy book. That book took me like a week to read, and I'm an avid reader and loved every second of it. So happy I bought it. Best $30 I spent in comics. Undeniably. No, that's not true. V for Vendetta was pretty good too. V for Vendetta, that both those books are equal in my opinion from Alan Moore, but for different reasons. But the point I'm making is that I agree with what you said, but that's why I say it's such an interesting component because when you're going from a comic to a novel, I don't think the focus changes.
A lateral move. Yeah,
it's very much a lateral move. It's a step up. So if it takes you 60% focus to read a comic, it's going to take 65% to read a novel, just because it's all words, right? Pictures help. A picture can tell you, Mr. Fantastic punching, Dr. Doom in the face. Physically seeing it and writing about it are not the same.
Right.
You can't replicate it. I can't replicate when Doc Ock in Superior Spider-Man punches somebody after he's in Peter's body. He's like, I nearly killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't replicate that in writing. It's one of my favorite scenes in comics, by the way, because it's so insightful into the mind of how strong Peter Parker is. After 700 issues, we're like, God damn, he's been holding back all this time. God damn.
That one scene told you more about Peter's character than a lot of the other entire books. I liked that one. Yep, I liked Superior Spider-Man, but it was funny you brought up Watchmen because I just finished reading it the other day again. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, it is exceptionally heavy. There's a lot going on in between the panels, but it's pretty neat.
There's a lot going on in between the end of the issues. Those like 4 pages takes you like an hour to read, and you're like, "Fucking A, Alan Moore, fucking A." like what's wrong with you, man? Like, what's wrong with you,
Alan? Just because the picture's worth 1,000 words doesn't mean you need 1,000 on the page.
I'm like, we're reading about pirates and then other stuff, and I'm like, God damn it! Like, why are we reading about pirates? And then you finally realize why we're reading about pirates, and then you're like,
don't skip it. Yep.
Wasn't like 3 penny opera in that thing too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Just everything was in that. But yes. Oh my God! Just God bless Alan Moore.
Yeah.
God bless Alan Moore.
And the book did a lot better job at it than the movie.
Oh, I mean, I thought the movie was great. I really did. I thought, even though Alan Moore didn't want to put his name on it, I didn't think the movie was that bad.
No, I didn't say it was bad, but I said the book did better.
Yeah. So, the book in that was brilliant. And V for Vendetta was just. I thought V for Vendetta was a better movie than Watchmen. But we still don't know if V's a man or a woman. We don't know.
I've seen it, but it's been so long I don't remember it.
I love V for Vendetta. David Lloyd did the art. He was at a con and he was just drawing V for Vendetta pictures with crayons for $10.
Get out.
He's having a great time. And he was happy to do. He's like, $10. Yeah, I'll just take my crayon, man. He's like, and he was doing it like in like 5 seconds, and like people were nice. They're bringing like all their V for Vendetta. So he's like, dude, just go right ahead. And you're getting a little crayon thing. It'll take it 2 seconds. Like, it was great. It was a Big Apple con. It was awesome to the point where what wound up happening is that like he was just doing like crayon work, and it was so cool because it's just taking a crayon and it's like, and you're watching, you're like, I'm watching somebody do something that's so gifted, and how does he do it in his head? Do it. It's great. But I digress. I want to get back to the book because obviously you're doing it on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kickstarter is the be all end all for you. I don't think that I don't think your game plan is Kickstarter, right? From my understanding of you, and feel free to correct me, is that I think this is more of a first round, pre-round, seed round, pre-order. And then I think you're going to wind up on Amazon for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And so what is that like? Because I don't know what the indie book market looks like. My mom has a book published by a publisher and through a publisher, and she took that route. With her book, she's working on her second one, trying to figure that out. And she doesn't want to go independent and for good reasons, right? There's prestige that comes with it. There's other perks that come with it. Also, it's harder to win a goddamn award if you're independent. It's looked down upon. I hate to say it, but at the same time, if you want to hustle, you can make a lot of money doing this too. But what is that like? Because I think it's interesting because I don't know this market at all by any stretch of the imagination, and you know it better than I do. But like, what is that like to kind of do the independent route, do novels, and even what does it look like on Kickstarter with books? Because we've seen Brandon Sanderson do his thing, but that also
he always had a name.
But that was also bullshit. Everybody was so thrilled about it. Nobody wanted to call it what it was. Is that was fixed by definition. That was not the norm, and that was bullshit, and it wasn't a miracle. And everybody was treating it like it was the Messiah coming, and it was not. It was not. It was anything but that. And everybody bought the Kool-Aid, and it was some Jim Jones in some South American country.
Yep. I'm
Jones.
glad I didn't back it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think backing it or not backing it is the problem. I don't have a problem with the product. I have a problem with the perception of how it was being presented because it was Jim Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing.
I can start preaching.
Yeah, getting that audience and building that audience up is something that's difficult for me to do personally because I'm not someone who's I have no problem talking on here, but I don't like asking people to go on shows and do things like that. Now there are companies, and you got to be very, very careful with a lot of the companies that you're looking at that will offer promotion or to help you with promotion.
Let's just name them. I don't care.
No, I'm not going to do that just in case for you. But like, there's one that's always bragging that they're getting $1 million campaigns and everything. But the problem is they don't take you unless you've already got that built-in audience, right? And then they take like 20-something% of your off the top.
Here, let's call it what it is, right? We saw that thing with Cats or Super Cats or whatever it was.
I did.
And Kevin something, and then it was like a 90s show, and then they were doing the graphic novel of it. And the issue that I think was people forget, and I've had this conversation, I had it with George Medina, and I've had it with a few other people, and a little bit with JD Calderon too, is that the problem is that are ads artificially suppressing or are they inflating, right? Because they're the same thing. You could suppress or inflate. It's really the same thing, depending on how you want to talk about this, is that if you're running so many ads, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, is it really the best product, or is it just the most seen product? And there's nothing wrong, because if you're spending $5 to get a customer and they're bringing you 30, nothing wrong with that. That's basic business. Every advertiser does it. Coca-Cola does it. Gucci does it. Tiffany does it. Apple does it, T-Mobile does it, Verizon does it, AT&T does it. Let's not pretend that this is a new trend, but we have to talk about it and say, is this really a good product or not? Because you have a bankroll, but that thing did, a lot of money, but how much did they make in profit? These are all valid questions. And is the market now artificially inflated? And we're going to pull something up that I got today that's extremely relevant to this, and it's called a bubble. Okay, bubble. So, and that's my question to you, is that's my problem with all of these Kickstarters, these companies, is that they charge it for the ads, and it's inflation, and the book is not going to appreciate in value, and it's an average book that is being treated as if it's an exceptional top book.
And that's why that's something I don't do, because I know, again, I know the horror stuff is B-movie horror, right? So you're either going to like that genre or you're not. I don't expect this to be a $1,000 collector's item book in the future. Would that be cool? Absolutely. But the chances of it are slim to none. What I'm looking for is an honest audience that really enjoys the types of stories that I'm putting out. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm asking the question is that this is how I view it, right? The way I view my YouTube channel is that I publish content, and my content is finding its audience now. It also happens that the things that are working is that the AVNs and Exhibit is going on, and those interviews are hitting hot right now for a good reason. And it was intentional, by the way. I didn't just come up with this out of nowhere, and I purposely set things up a certain way. But the point that I'm making is that I am well aware that, what happens is that it sometimes takes 3, 4, 5 years for an interview to hit. And it's painful and it's stakingly slow. But you know what happens if you do it that way? You build an audience, and guess what happens? You keep building it and building it and building it. And then out of nowhere, you have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 subscribers, and they're willing to follow you off a cliff because they know that the good chance that there's a net underneath if you're leading them to that cliff, and they're going to listen to you. And that's right.
like with the first one, you sell a few hundred, right? Which is what I did. Second one, you sell over 1,000, which again is what I did. And that's what you have to do, is you have to allow it to build itself up. And sometimes you need the incidentals like you do with the shorts and the smaller clips and so on, right? So with my thing, it's going to be getting out and talking to people like you and to others. That's the way I would build said audience and brand. Now, I do have a couple of other interviews that are coming out. I have what do you call it? It's the Reader's Digest of the UK. Okay, they did an interview of me. And so that's going to be published out there, which again, like you said, that's going to help spread the word out to another audience. And what's nice about Amazon, see, Kickstarter is I'm not going to call it a loss leader because that's the wrong word for it, but it's the foot in the door. It's the way to get the word out about the novel. Okay. Where Amazon allows me to reach everybody else because, well, if you order it from Amazon UK, you're not paying that $25, $30 shipping that I would have to charge you. So it's the way it's the only way the process can really work for an indie person.
So it's interesting you bring that up, right? The reason why I'm on YouTube and I'm almost solely focused on YouTube and I build out my YouTube community aggressively. I mean, I if you look at my YouTube community, I'm booked I have content until 2028.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's 2026 for a reason. I have legitly and I'm published of all these shorts and all this micro content, you know, for the next 34 weeks. Like, it's sick.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is that YouTube is the second world's largest search engine. It's a built-in platform for me, and I treat my YouTube community page like a Twitter feed. I don't post much on Twitter. I don't really post much on Facebook anymore. There's no good reason. I don't even market my YouTube channel because it does it for me, right? And it's because what happens is that, and me and a bunch of people in podcast groups talk about this, YouTube is the #1 distribution because I get the big interview, I republish the interview, I can cut the interview up into 6 parts, publish that, 8 pieces, and I get another 10 pieces of micro content out of that. So if I really want to, I can get 18 pieces of content put on YouTube and various components throughout the year, you know, per interview. It's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why, I mean, I could replicate the whole process on Rumble if I wanted to.
Right.
Do the exact same thing. I just don't have the time. That's the only problem with Rumble, is that I don't have the time to upload content on YouTube and upload content onto Rumble, and I need an intern. And who says I might go get an intern? I mean, you know, I'll go to WestCon, which is in my neighborhood, and I'll say, look, I'm gonna teach you everything you want to know. You're gonna come sit down with me every Tuesday night. I'm gonna teach you more, and it's not gonna look sexy, but I'm gonna teach you more about this than any goddamn big marketing firm. And then when you show up and they ask you to build a YouTube channel for them, you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, my only issue with Rumble is that they do not integrate well with StreamYard because you have to do a lot of back end things in order to get Rumble to work. If they did the same thing with StreamYard that YouTube does, where it's just a click and add your channel, they'd be a lot bigger.
But Rumble's its own monster. They have such a different component idea, and in many ways, they're actually more dangerous than YouTube.
What do you mean dangerous?
And their growth pattern is so different because they have like Power Slap exclusively. They have stuff that's perfectly exclusive for Rumble, and it makes sense, right? They've taken the Netflix model, which makes sense. YouTube should have taken that, but YouTube did YouTube Red, and that failed.
Oh yeah,
because they didn't get it. So, but again, for me, YouTube, it's just content, right?
Yep.
And it allows me to reach everybody I want to reach in the world, and I reach people all over the world because of that. And again, I don't care what it does today because there's interviews. I mean, there's an interview that I did 2 years ago that's gotten 170, views in the last week, and it's legitimately 200 videos buried.
Yep.
I'm not even focusing on it. I don't market it. It's marketing itself.
Yeah.
And it's slowly climbing, just chips away, and it's just drill, baby, drill.
And you're right about the Facebook thing. If it wasn't for me talking to a couple of people on there, I would absolutely drop Facebook in a heartbeat, because it's mostly bots now talking to other bots. It's not, there's no real interaction. In fact, any of the groups, like speaking of the author outreach things, I've gone to those groups, private and public. I bet you I've been a part of 50 or 60 of them. And most of them they'll post about their book, and then that's it. They leave. And then it's bots that react, and you can tell they are, or it's scammers. Easy, tons and tons of scammers on there.
So it's interesting you bring this up, because it's the opposite in the card world. It's
Really?
the complete opposite. We're all interacting, and like people posting up, so I'll pull this up right here, right? So I pulled this card. It's for those who know, it's Clyda Drexler, who was on the Dream Team, auto limited 50, right? So I pulled something like, I just pulled this on my birthday. Like, dude, happy birthday, man. That's a sick card. Dream Team, let's go, right? And like, I'm like, or better yet, this card actually did better than that card because it's Cooper Flag. But the point I'm making is that it's not autoed by Cooper Flag. It's just a cool Cooper Flag card.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, dude, that's awesome, man. You selling? I'm like, no, I'm not selling. like, fuck you. No. I was like, I'm like, no. I'm like, not for sale. But like, we're all talking about it. People are interacting. Dude, that's an awesome card. Somebody just pulled a 101 Becky Lynch. She's a wrestler. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome, man. Open up a cold one, man. Enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And then I post up mine, and I post up mine. Somebody then post up their 101. I have a 101 R-Truth. Ron Killing's card.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome, man. And guys like guy pulled a Hardy Boys, right? Winning the tag team titles NXT. I'm like, dude, that's sick, right? And then like somebody else posted up a 101 of Sol Ruka, and we're like, dude, and like 15 people got the joke, but we're all interacting with each other, all having a good time, all engaging with each other, all talking about cards, and it's great. And there's no sales. Because everybody but there's so much interaction. Yeah. These are all just wrestling fans posting wrestling cards. And I'm like, oh, dude, I got this John Cena 5/5. Even though it broke the rules a little bit, nobody was giving me shit. But that's the problem, is that nobody's just posting, dude, I got this limited 5 comic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing I was saying at. Is there isn't that kind of stuff in most of the communities on there that I've been a part of. Although I will say, I never expected to like R-Truth as much as I do. He is hilarious. I can't help but like the dude.
On that card, I want to get it signed. I'm gonna make him put Happy Flag Day.
Nice.
I think he'll do it, because I think it's gonna get graded.
He seems like a good guy.
Oh, it's gonna be great. He's gonna be like, dude, or he's gonna put dog. Or maybe I'll make him put John Cena as my favorite wrestler. I'll let him put whatever he wants to put on the card. I'll say, if you want to put a Happy Flag Day on that, I think that's funny. Personally, I think that's hilarious.
That's not bad.
Oh my God. Just putting Happy Flag Day, R-Truth, on a 101 foil fractor R-Truth is so sick.
Mm-hmm.
But like the point I'm making is that like in this group, there's all of this, right?
Yeah.
And card groups are a lot of fun, right? Because of that. But like that's the thing, right? Or conversely, like I pulled an awesome John Cena card, I put it up, and it was like, dude, way to go, man. That's awesome. Or I pulled a Diana Taurasi card, and it was like, dude, that's sick, right? You got that? You're the one who got that? Like, dude, way to go. Like, so like when you put up that stuff, or just I'll put up like I didn't put up, for those, I just pulled a Joan of Arc rookie card, right? I know. A little rookie card, 600 years late, but
that card's on fire.
Yeah. A little late, right? But like if I put that up in a card group, people will be like, dude, that's really funny. Like, like the point is that like it's interactive, right?
Yeah.
But like these groups are not for sale, they're for just sharing cool polls, because people want to know what you pull.
Yep.
Or like I'll say, hey guys, is this a card that should be worth grading? But like that's the problem, is that there's no interaction. But like, I mean, I love Facebook, because I'll just reach out to people. That's the only reason why, is that it's an interview hub for me. But I don't need Facebook. I don't even need Twitter, to be honest. I mean, I'm screaming and yelling during football time on Twitter, and I'm the worst. I'm actually right now locked out of my Twitter account because
Nice.
Florida to die. Because he's a bad coach on the Packers. Oh my God, they had that game won like 15 times. Oh my God, just
Yeah, I've tried using Facebook to get interviews, and it's so much of reaching out to people. And again, it could just be my audience size that I don't have it large enough where they think it's worth me coming on. And I get
just
it.
knock on doors and I say, fuck it. And then what I do is I'll reach out to a porn star and I'll just say, fuck it.
I can't do that.
And the reason why is that I don't care. I don't care. So if you don't want to be on my show, or I'm not big enough, or I don't fit the narrative, fuck you.
I had that. Somebody wanted me on their show until they saw Which Way I Lean, let's put it that way, and it was instantly canceled. Yeah.
But this is the thing, right? I interview all these people, and you want to hear the crazy part? Stacy Lynn, right? T.S. Stacy Lynn, might I throw out there. I bet you Stacy Lynn is not as liberal as you think. We didn't get into it, but I don't think Stacy Lynn is as liberal as you think, right? A lot of people aren't as liberal as you think, and they're not as conservative as you think either.
Right.
A lot of people are fucking purple in this country, and people have to learn you got to get along with people. But my point is that this is what happened. Somebody was supposed to do an interview. They punted it. I reached out to them, and then they said something that irked me. And they said, "Oh, I'm working a 40-hour work week. I'm starting a company. I just don't have the time right now."
Mm-hmm.
The reason why it bothered me, and I'm curious how you feel about this, I think it's actually interesting because I'm interested in your perspective on this, is that I'm running an eBay business that right now is riding a very complicated wave with comics and collectibles at the moment. I was working a 40-hour work week. I'm looking for work. I'm managing my finances. I'm running this show, and I have a complicated life, and I'm dealing with a health issue at the same time. And the reason why it irked me is that we're all dealing with the same problem, dude. Your problem and my problem are not that. And when you make that statement to me, what that says that you don't acknowledge and you don't realize that I'm dealing with the same shit you're dealing. I might even be dealing with more problems than you're dealing with. I'm dealing with an eBay business that, is growing and failing at the same time because I'm dealing with economic parameters that are out of my control and in my control at the same time, navigating the whole bomb that happened in 2025 with the economy. And people have made videos on this is everybody's selling their books, but who's buying?
Exactly.
And so I'm curious how you feel, because that's how I feel the problem is that I think a lot of people don't realize everybody's dealing with the same problem. Everybody needs media. Everybody needs an interview, and everybody needs to get off their high horse.
There is a lot of that where it turned from the rising tide belief to a lot of the crab bucket belief, where I can't help you because then that takes away from me. Where I'm the exact opposite. I will give you whatever you need. If I have it and you need something, I will do my best to help you. Okay. And I know that sounds.
Speaking of that, I need a hard mattress. No, I'm so
sorry. I
can
give you a hard something, but it ain't a mattress.
Continue, please. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help the joke, but continue.
Right. And it's that idea. I don't get it. Brutal honesty. I don't understand why somebody would be like that. I mean, I understand selfishness. Yes, of course. I'm not a moron.
Let me throw you a different perspective. I grew up in Yorktown Heights. Yorktown Heights is in Westchester. You have Westchester, Bronx, New York City, and then the other side is Long Island, which is Queens, right? So what happened is that after 9/11, since we're in such proximity to New York City, 40 miles, everybody was like, how can we help you? Right? People worked in the city, people had jobs in the city. Nobody in my community was in the World Trade Center. Thank God. There were people that obviously got out of there. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody in Yorktown's community died in the World Trade Center, right? But everybody was supportive. New Yorkers were supportive of each other. And it was this idea that, okay, you're a Yankees fan, you're a Mets fan, doesn't matter, right? It's the idea that, yo, how can I help my neighbor out, right? Hey, I'm going to the store and your neighbor's across the hall from you. You say, hey, do you need milk or something? Because
Yep.
I know that maybe you can't go out because it's poor air quality, right? And it was this idea that we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt the beginning of COVID was. We're all in this together, guys. And I have felt that it has gone off and it has gone to shit. And everybody's now, I'm going to stab you. Because if I kill you, you die. Now there's one less mouth to feed. And now I get 2 steps ahead of you. Now there's a person behind me and in front of me. And I understand that, right? I get the mentality of it. I really do. Because I understand economics are tight. I would know. I've gone through a massive economic transformation. I know how brutal it is. So I'm the first person to tell you. But at the same time, I mean, I think it's actually done more damage.
It's a funny story. You were talking about the Mets and Yankees. Well, it's a different sport because I used to be a Packers fan, and I made the mistake. I made the mistake of going to New York with my Packers jacket on. They were not pleasant. It was not a good time. But yeah, it is what it is. It was funny. But yeah, as so many people are more willing to step over a person than reach out a hand and help them up. I just that's never been my way. It's never been my way.
It bothers. There's a list. There's a list. I have a list. I don't know if you have a list. I have a list.
Mm-hmm.
No, I am not Chris Jericho. And then people
You're on the list.
Yeah, I love Chris Jericho. Oh man, great guy. Great human being. So smart. Arguably the best wrestler in the world right now. Just and I know that's if there's, let's put it this way. There's the old Mount Rushmore, which is Hogan, Flair. You throw a few other people on there. Maybe Taker's on there, and then the new one is Cena. Potentially Chris Jericho, MJF. You can make an argument for MJF, Randy Orton. I would not put Roman on that list. I would not put Roman. I would put MJF above Roman Reigns, but MJF is. Oh, I love MJF. MJF is such a troll too. He's so good at it. He's so good at it. But anyway, the point is that when we look at this, right, is that I have a list of all the people I've helped who now won't speak to me.
Right.
Won't answer my phone calls. Won't talk to me. Will blow me off. And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the day because these companies rise and they fall.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a house of cards comics. And I know we're just one pull away. Yeah. We're just one. We're just one away. Mm-hmm. Because we start with Bad Girl Art. And that thing was brutal. And I was a big problem with that. Probably 12 to 15K easy. Complications. It will come back. It will come back. It just might take 5 years.
There's always a cycle. Yeah.
But it's brutal. It's brutal. But my point that I'm making is that I know there are companies and people who won't answer me. And I can't wait. I can't wait for it to change again and need my help. And you know what? It's going to be fun when they need it. It's going to be fun when they need it. Because Undertaker said it best. The toes that you step on, you have to remember they're connected to the asses that you're going to have, that you stepped on the way up. You're going to have to kiss on the way back down.
Yeah.
So be very careful who you fucking screw.
We were doing the Slaughterville RPG stuff, okay? And I made this, right? Path of the Pale Rider thing for Lori's books, right?
Yeah.
And it's an RPG module that works with my game. I'm like, just take it, you can sell it, but you handle all the printing, you handle everything else. And because I made it for fun, you know what I mean? Because I like doing it. And you don't see that often. That's why I liked with what Doc said too, was take the book and run with it. It's yours, and that's the way I think we should be. Yes, I know we all need to make money. We need it to live. But at the same time, sometimes I think building the relationship and just being, decent is better.
I agree. I try to be decent. I've learned a very valuable lesson, right? It helps. I do a lot of business with Tops, right? And I tend to pull a lot of parallels. Don't freaking scream at customer service. Because if you're nice, you say, guys, I think you did a fantastic job here. You know what happens? It gets noted somewhere. It gets noted, man. You say, guys, I got to hand it to you. That was a rough launch, but you guys did the right thing here. You did the thing I wanted you to do for the last 5 years. It was great. There was the John Cena commemorative box. It's 25 cards. It was one per account. Not one per customer, not one per order, one per account. So it took me 3 hours to get it. But they didn't sell out that day. They sold out eventually. It was one per account. So you could not get two. I didn't want two. I just wanted one.
Yeah.
And I got it. It's a $100 item. And it was great because they did the thing that mattered, where they limited it on a product that is so exclusive. And there will never be one like this. I don't care if you do Bob Ross and I get screwed out of Bob Ross. The fact, and when you tell Tops they did that, you know what happens? They're like, this is really useful feedback.
Yeah.
It's very, very helpful to say, hey, I'm just curious about this thing over here because I know it's a super low print run. And I've done the numbers, man. Every 15 cards is getting a parallel here. And I'm super excited for it. Do you have an idea when it's dropping?
Or it's being parallel?
A parallel is a card. So this is a parallel, right? So what it is that, let me see. It's hard to see it. I don't know if you could see the number on it.
Yes.
That's a parallel. So it's a numbered card. This just happens to be an autograph parallel. So a parallel is that what Tops does is that, so I'll show this right here, right? This right here is the 101. You can see that 101 there?
Nice.
That's the R-Truth, right?
Yeah.
So 101, there's only one of those in the world. So it's a gold foil, right? So what they do is that's stamped on it, and there's only one of them in the world. So that's a parallel. And so that's the concept, right? So when you have a low print run of 400 cards, they print 90 parallels. And the way it works is that if you have a print run of 400, every order gets one. If there's left over, they repeat the cycle. If there's still left over, they repeat the cycle. If there's still left over, repeat the cycle. It's sick. It's sick. So if you have a low print run of 400 cards, and there's been some that have been a part of, you get 4, 5, 6 parallels. And those cards trade higher.
Okay.
So a parallel might trade for $50 and the base might trade for $6. So think about if you get 449 parallels, you can sell them, and you bought 20 of them for $100, and you just made like $120. You still have all your bases, and you still got your one parallel for yourself. It's very profitable. There are parallels like that. R-Truth is a parallel. I don't know. It's maybe a $600 card.
Wow.
It's whatever I want to sell for, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's one-on-one, right?
But I don't want to sell it because it's awesome. And I'm not interested in selling it, but that's the point, is that,
well, I mean, for the right money, anything's for sale.
You know what though? I have so much stuff I can sell that's at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But
somebody came and said, we'll give you 10 grand for it.
I still might not.
Really? That I'm shocked by.
And the reason why is that I can go sell, I can make up the aggregate, right, somewhere else. There's stuff that I care about and stuff I don't care about. I
Mhm.
like my Paige Bucher's card, right? Her auto's expensive. Somebody offers me $5,000 for it. I might think about it, but I also might say, you know what? I really like the card. Fuck it. I don't need to sell you the card. It
Hmm.
was never in the game plan to get it,
I'm,
right?
wait- I'm waiting
Like,
for your mom to come crack you upside the back of the head.
but that's the thing though, is that it's never in the game plan. My business model isn't predicated on the parallels. So
Yeah.
that's just a bonus to me. And it's such a great business model because I never ever expect a parallel. You thought I was going to get the one-on-one R-Truth didn't even cross my mind.
Hmm.
Honest, didn't cross my mind at all. I'm like, great, this is cool. Never crossed my mind, and it's awesome because when something doesn't cross your mind and it happens, that's the attitude. I mean, I just
Hmm.
pulled a limited chrome penny card. It's a green chrome tops down penny card. I'm like, what the fuck's this? Like, this wasn't supposed to happen. Why is it green?
Hmm.
This doesn't look right. And then I looked up and I'm like, oh, and then I looked at the card like 2 days later. And I'm like, oh, it's got chrome on the back.
Mm.
Shit. I didn't even see it on it. But like, that's the point I'm making is that, but like, again, it's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Not to yell at Topps customer service.
Well, I did the same kind of thing as you were saying. I had two different engines that I was going to be using for the RPG, right? The one wanted all these fees, they wanted so much money off the top of each book, and they wanted a lot, right? But they had the engine built, and I understood a licensing fee, right? So I contacted another company called Free League. They made Alien, Blade Runner, Walking Dead, those RPGs. And they said, use the engine, use it for free. We don't want anything. Just put a link in there that tells people where they can go, find us. I'm like, all right, cool. So that's what I did. And because I called them and I talked to them and I was pleasant and, my usual self to them, they put me on without me even knowing. Previewer list. So I've been getting all of their books before they go to the stores, markets, or Kickstarter or anything. And just because, I wasn't a jackass, and I thought that was kind of cool of them. So I always promote them whenever I can too.
Look, there are people who have been nice to me. There's people who have been, have gone up to bat for me. But also, I find that there's an issue where you got to go up to bat for people.
Mm-hmm.
People, like, again, I've had this thing. It's etiquette and it's manners. And the thing that bothers me is that, so what should happen after every interview, I do it after I do interviews, is that I immediately say, thank you so much for having me on. I had such a great experience. What do you need from me on promotion?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when it's out there. I'm going to send it to everybody I know. If you need me to mention it in interviews that I'm doing, happy to do it. If you need me to put links in my, bunch of my interviews, happy to do it. I want this thing to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then I did an interview. They took a high flyer on me, and I hit that thing out of the park. And you could tell the 3 guys were like, fuck. This guy just hit bombs out of the park. Because I came prepared. I treated it seriously. And I was so excited. And then we were talking about me debating if I was going to ask out a girl at my job. And then
Mm-hmm.
it was like a big debate between the 3 of them. And I was just sitting there. It was a really funny moment. And it was like, what are they about? No opinion. It was like, don't do it, dude. Just find a different girl somewhere else. It's like, go for it, dude. If you get fired, you'll find another job. Don't worry about it. If she's cute, maybe she'll be your wife. It'll be great. Like, it was a really funny discussion. I said, I don't know, man. What should I do here? Like, it was, I don't know how it came about, but the funny part of it was that what happened though is that I was talking about Aaron Judge cards. I showed cool stuff. I showed stuff that I loved. And then they were like, dude, you do realize how rich you're going to be? I said, maybe I'll have 2-3 million. No, they're like, no. You're going to have like more like 15 to 20. I'm like, okay. And I was so humble and just so calm and so peaceful and so basic. And they're like, you just outlined that you have a business and you take your money from A to B and you put into something basic conservative that does 8% every year. And you're taking like 10 grand on top of your job and everything else, like, dude, you're going to be filthy rich in retirement. But the thing is that immediately after what I said, and the point I want out of this conversation is that I immediately shot them an email. I said, thank you so much for taking a chance on me. I really appreciate it. Interview's done like 12,000 views. And I said, thank you so much for having me on. I'm like, yeah, man, happy to do it. We took a shot on you and you showed up. Like, you showed the hell up, man. Like, we're happy to do it. We're glad we got you on, man. This was a good interview. But like, that's what I don't understand about when I interview people. First thing you should be saying to me, shoot me, if I shot you a message on Facebook, say, thank you for having me on. Let's not even talk about money or any of that or sending me your digitals. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And that's what I don't get about this industry. And I would love an answer. I would love an answer from everybody. I would love one. And I'm jaded, but it bothers me. It really bothers me because it seems so simple. Sorry.
No, I just don't understand these kind of things. It's not. It helps everybody. It helps everybody in the long run.
I had a professor when I studied abroad in Washington, D.C. Their program, the Washington Semester Program, which is a worldwide renowned program. Study abroad, very cool idea. What he said is the magic words in DC are please, thank you. When you say, hey, please, can you help me out? Goes a long way. And thank you, I appreciate it so much. Please, thank you, right? And 2 magic words open up a lot of doors in DC. Very helpful words.
Yeah.
Or I need help. That's also a good word to use in DC. I need help on this project. I don't understand this committee. Can you explain it to me? I was doing something and my boss changed because he got promoted to being the chief of staff. And then I had somebody else come in and I said to Derek, hey, what's the help committee? I know in the House they have this committee, but what's the help committee? He's like, oh, the help committee is this thing. And it's just that they combine healthcare and education into one committee in the Senate, and in the House, they divide it. I said, got it. Didn't know that, right? But hey, could you just give me some insight into this? Because you know better than I do. Didn't know it, right? You can't know everything. But hey, I need help on this thing. Could you just give me some insight into the help committee? Give me like a 5-minute 401 on it. 5 minutes. Easy. Took Derek 5 minutes to handle the issue. Perfect, right? So like, again, I just don't get it. It bothers me, but I digress. So I just don't get it. But, I have a list. That's all I'm going to say. I have a list. And I'm waiting for the day when all these people, because it will come around. It will come around. And, that's that. But again, so let's actually talk, even going back into Kickstarter a little bit, because I mean, we've beaten Kickstarter a lot, but I am curious, is that obviously I think there's a hardcover of this, right?
There will be, yep.
And then is there going to be also a soft cover?
Soft cover, hard cover, and a custom cover. Yep.
So what's the custom cover?
I can't bring it up here, but Glory takes the covers, rips the covers off.
Gotcha.
And then puts a book cloth over it. We're doing a gray book cloth because of noir stuff with silver silhouette of the Jake Bishop character on the front, and then the title. So yeah. Yep. And it has a charm, which I'm still debating on what I want the charm to be, but for a book, for one of those bookmark strings. Yeah. It's neat. I did it for the 2 Slaughterville books. I'll do it for the 3rd one when I do that one. But yeah, so much I want to say, but so much I can't. So
I see.
As a good Christian, I can't say some things.
Is it confidential, or is it just that?
No.
There's funny things I can't say, but it's not because I'm a Christian. It's just that I have an NDA on a few things, so I legally can't say it. But I'll fucking say a lot of other things. I have no problem saying a lot of things because I am not a Christian, and therefore I can't be good or bad because I'm not a Christian.
Let's put it this way: I believe that there are certain styles of books that are pushed harder on places like Kickstarter than others.
Let's just say that if you have a topless book, but
There you go.
inside the book isn't that. But this is the thing, right? Here's the point. Just because it's topless doesn't mean it's good. It just means people are buying it because people are depraved and they don't, and porn isn't doing the job anymore. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is, right? I mean, I'll be really honest. I mean, I'm single, but anytime I want a girl or I want a one night stand, I'm going to go to the bar and get it. I'm going to not like illegally get it, but I'm going to use charm, wit, and well, I'm smart enough that I can bring somebody home to my house and have a good time. And if you can't do that and you have to look at a comic book to get your rocks off, you know what it is? You should reevaluate your life or your bank account. I don't know.
This is true. This is true. Yeah.
I mean, I call it like I see it, right? I'm going to have no friends in this business in the next 5 years, and I don't care. I don't care because I have a lot of friends all over the world, and I don't really need any new ones. So I call it like I see it, man. I'm sorry that your book sales are going to go down after this interview.
I'll be fine. Trust me.
But I agree. I agree that again, it's the artificial component, but it's also the balancing act of trying to say, I need to sell book A, get this done, and I need to be profitable or get 80% profitable or 80% of my way there, and I could float the 20%. And because doesn't it become an issue of cost versus value?
Yes.
So let me ask you this, and you don't have to answer. You can plead the fifth. How did you determine the cost of your book? So let's start there. How do you determine the cost of your book? Well, it actually goes into determining cost because I think it's a big issue and a big problem in Kickstarter right now.
Sure. I admit when I first started Kickstarter all these many moons ago, it wasn't my area of expertise. But after doing, I think 24 Kickstarters now, I have it down, right? You have to understand, what is the minimum price for the quantity you're ordering that you're going to be paying per. Then, if it's a board game, times that sucker by 5. Because that's how you sell it. That's how you make money on board games, is multiply by 5. With the books, I usually do a multiple of 2 to make money on them. But then there's also make sure that the backer pays shipping or integrate shipping into the cost and make it look like free shipping. Right? A lot of people do that.
I do that on eBay.
Absolutely. So they're technically still paying for shipping. They just don't think they are. What else?
So I'll interrupt you because I'll tell you. So right now, this is 10 cards, right?
Okay.
These 10 cards cost $36. So what that means is 10 is $3.60 a card. It just so happens that this card, everybody, is worth $80 because it's not a card; it's a cryptocurrency. It's an $80 cryptocurrency that was pulled out of the pack. But that's how you go and you say, cool, on a level of, that it's so when I want to go sell that, I mean, obviously those are personal cards. They're really fun. The currency cards, they're trippy and I want to buy more. To be honest, it's a lot of fun, right? And I have the money now to do it. Isn't it funny how that works? But the idea is that it's a very expensive value set. So if I'm to go and sell it, it might not be that it's worth what I paid for it. It also, though, determines value. It determines cost. So when I go and I'm looking at buying now, great. So it's $36 for, or 18 a pack for $3.60. That is the starting price. eBay charges 13%. And then on top of that, I got to pay for shipping. So this is how I determine cost. And I would imagine if you're producing a comic book, whatever it is, if you wrote the script, your labor, if you calculate your labor, which you can or you can't do, it's completely up to you on how people want to do it. As an owner, I don't calculate my labor on these projects, right? But if I was, I would say I should be paid 18 an hour to 25 an hour, easy. I should be paid a page rate or an entry rate. I'm not too sure how that works, but the idea is that I take profit. I don't take a salary as an owner, because I own the company. I own my eBay business full outright. So I don't have any partners, any of that. But on a comic, you have to say, what is my page rate? How much does it cost to produce a page, right? How much does it cost to color it? How much does it cost to letter it? How much does it cost to print those things, right? Determine it. Then you have to say, how much does it cost to print it? How much does a cover cost? And then you also say, if cover B is 500, cover C is 700, cover D is 200. Those also affect different components, because if people order 100 of cover D, 200 of cover C, and 400 of cover B, and then 200 of cover A, all of those have different price points. It could be that cover B, even though it was more expensive, factored in, is cheaper because there was more ordered. Because every time you order a cover, if 400 copies of cover B were printed, it lowers the cost of the cover per unit, right? And that affects value and cost, right? Does that make any sense? I mean, this is my area of expertise. This is the operations and logistics. I love it. I love everything. If somebody comes, let's me come into the Kickstarter, I can probably save you 20 to 30% off the bat on operations and logistics, and I would do it for free because I love it. I love it. It's like better than sex for me. It's amazing. It just like blows my mind. I love it. I love it to the T, because it's like a puzzle to me. It allows my brain to work. The point. Like my brain works that way. But anyway, if anybody wants that clip, please just feel free to take the clip. But like that's why I'm curious, is that I'm curious how you determine cost, because then we get to the value. And I think the value proposition is off.
What do you mean by that?
I think cost. I think people view cost and value extremely similar and correlated when they're not. I don't think that it costs. Let's say it costs for a $20 book $7 to make, hands down, over large numbers, right? So I mean, I don't want to single out anybody's book, but let's say it costs $7 all in per unit, right? And they charge 25. I don't think the value is 25.
No.
I think what they're trying to do is have a 3x with cost.
Yeah.
And I'm not calculating shipping. So let's say shipping pumps it up to 13. So I get it, right? So I think the value of the book, it could be $7, it could be $10, it could be $5. But I think that's where this whole thing in Kickstarter's gotten messy, is that just because you're charging X for a book doesn't mean it's worth that. 90% of these books are dollar bin books in reality.
Sure.
And that has nothing to do with the quality of the book. It just means the book's not valuable, right? There's plenty of books that are in a dollar bin that are awesome books. I picked up a Brian Pulido Lady Death 10,000 leather-bound copy in a dollar bin.
Really?
Awesome book. Cool as fuck, right? Knew nothing about Lady Death. I'm like, this looks sick. It's $1. I'm in. and I could tell the book was loved, right? I could tell somebody loved the book. I was so happy about it too, because I'm like, oh, this book looks cool, right? You go to dollar, bin day at your comic shop, and you bring out $30, right? And you say, I'm getting 30 books. Let's have fun. Like that. That's what it was, right? And my mom was there too with me. It was great. And then I went to eat at a diner. It was great, right? Nice. The whole day was perfect, because it was like, spent $30 and I got 30 cool books. Some trippy shit that I'm like, what the fuck's this? I have no idea what this book is. It looks cool. And then I was speaking to the comic shop owner. I'm like, this looks cool. What is this? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know either. I think the book was worth more than $1 is the point. I don't know where we're going with this, but continue.
No, again, like you said, cost versus value. I think for the novels at this point, the value is going to be whatever they get out of it, right? Like you said, there's good books that are in the dollar bin. But I can't charge $1, of course, because I'd be paying people to take the book. So I have to charge something that's reasonable and feasible to make a little something off of it. But I try to keep it as cheap as I possibly can in order to make it more accessible.
Do you think that's a problem? And I don't mean that you're charging because you're a business, right? You got to make money. I got to make money too, right? I try to keep my cards, and so I try to keep, if I buy a card for $4, I try to keep it around $7.50, $8
Mm-hmm.
shipping. I'm not making a lot on you. I'm making about $1 after it's all said and done in profit. So I mean, that's not terrible. That's what, like 20%, or is it 25% in profit? Which isn't bad, right? All things considering, especially if you're moving like 20 of them, it's not terrible. But I'm not getting rich off of you by any stretch of the imagination. But but I find that people try to sell these cards for like $16, and I'm like, that's a little high, especially when it's brand new. And so I guess what I find, and this is my problem on Kickstarter, is that I go on Kickstarter and I feel like I'm being priced out of the market. $20 for a cover A, I'm priced out.
Yeah, if you're talking comic books that are
like 28 pages.
28 pages, that is a difficult sell, indeed.
But I see the campaign does like 16,000. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm missing some. What am I missing here?
If I knew that.
I mean, I want to know what I'm missing because I'm curious, and I'm also saying to myself, like, I can't be this stupid and I can't be this dumb. I've been doing this and involved in this space for the last like 20 years of my life. There's maybe not like the last 15, and I'm like, since I was 18, I'm like, what am I missing here? And that's why I'm asking you, because maybe you see something different than I do, and I don't know what I'm missing.
Again, it depends on the style of book. It depends on the, like, let's take, obviously we talked about the boob books. They're going to sell no matter what because people are strangely attracted to that kind of thing.
Are deprived and porn isn't doing it.
Yeah, it's odd. But let me ask you this: what's one of the more famous YouTubers that you know? That's in the
John Della Rosa.
Della Rose.
Yeah. I actually like him. I think he makes some good points.
Okay. People with the larger audience have that already built in, and they're able to do that, charging more for it, and get it because people aren't buying the book; they're buying the personality. They're buying the person behind it.
But I don't even
think Eric July.
Yeah,
that's what his whole business of the comic book was successful on, is that people bought it because of his name. Now, I like them. Not all of them, and I've told him that, and I have no problem saying it because I like, some books I like. I don't like others. It's not that big a deal. But in those instances, people are buying the name. Like, you go to a Mike Baron book for Mike Baron, right? You'll try a new property because of his name on it. Same thing with Chuck Dixon. You'll buy one.
Scott Snyder. Same thing with Scott Snyder.
Oh, Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns. If Jeff Johns puts out a new book, I'm going to check it out. I don't know him personally, but I know that I liked his other stuff. Now, have I been burned on that? Absolutely.
But this is the difference, though, with somebody like Mike Baron, Chuck Dixon, Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns. Those people have been doing comics. Dan Slott, right? Dan Slott's been writing comics forever, right? So I think it's a little bit different when you go take an Eric July, or you take a Brandon Sanderson, Brandon Sanderson's been writing books forever.
I was going to say, he's been out for a long, long time.
Yeah, he's been out forever.
He had that following.
But also he has a track record
Yeah,
in regular media outside of this. But JD, is it JDA or GL?
I think it's
John,
JDA, John Della Rose.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it wrong.
No, it's fine.
I don't know him personally. I just
Yeah.
I like some of his points because I think he has some really fair positions and he calls things like he sees it sometimes. I also think he gets things wrong.
Oh,
Um,
everybody does.
but that's fine. It's humanity. But my point that I'm making is that I think with him, it's a little bit different than with and Eric July. I think they're different. Chuck Dixon. If Chuck Dixon does an indie book or an indie novel, the point of Chuck Dixon is that Chuck Dixon created Bane. Like you get a lot more credibility. Or Scott Snyder created the Court of the Owls, right? Talent, you get a lot more credibility than if you're coming out of nowhere, right?
Of course.
So that's my point, is that I think that there's a difference between somebody who's been writing comics forever. I'm trying to think of somebody else like Mike Barron, right? Thin Blue Line, right? I'm willing to try Thin Blue Line. I'm willing to try stuff by Mike Barron because it's Mike Barron. I trust that Mike Barron is also going to get it to me because Mike Barron's proven that he's going to get it to me.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But also Mike Barron did Punisher. What did 2099? I think.
He did the regular Punisher. Yeah.
Did he do 2099?
I don't remember off the top of my head if he did.
He might have done both.
He might have. He could have. Yeah.
The point is that about Mike Barron is that I know Mike Barron is, but he's a seasoned writer. So, but it's also, I don't think Mike Barron is pulling in what Eric July is doing. But Eric July's business model is whatever. But again, I mean, I didn't read anything Eric July has done. I actually read less and less comics. I'm reading a lot more manga, to be honest. I find manga to be a better product than comics.
And that's another thing. Yeah, people are switching.
It's also cheaper. It's $4 a month to get as much Shonen Jump as I want. I can legitimately read all of One Piece and Naruto and anything from Shonen Jump, including all the new stuff that comes out weekly, for $4 a month. So if I'm reading legitimately like 300 chapters a month for $4, I mean, this is the issue too. Like Global Comics, no offense, but like it doesn't work. You guys need to create an app and mimic what Shonen Jump did, this media did, and you got to do it.
I've stopped buying a lot of the indie comics because they refuse to put out a PDF with their physical. Because I'll buy the physical, keep that nice and safe, and then I want to read the PDF.
Really? They stopped doing that?
A lot of people will not do that because they're afraid of piracy. So, yeah. But as far as how are some people doing, I honestly think it's less about the book. For most of them, I think it's less about the book and more about the audience they've built outside of it. Unless, again, we're talking the boob books, then that's a whole different topic. But as far as regular comics goes, I think it's more people are backing the person and not the book.
Do you also feel that people feel like that they back it, if they don't, they're out of the club?
There is that. That's why I meant that's what the personality part comes into play. If you're not backing this person's book, you're not going to be part of their inner circle. They won't like you. Buy my stuff. Don't buy my stuff. I don't care. I'll like you the same, whatever you do. Unless you call me, bad names, then I might troll you.
That's so interesting. In which I just said, fuck it. Like this is my new attitude, right? Is that I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm marching my own way. And you know what it is? You don't know who's gonna come on my show. And guess what? I'm going wrestling heavy. And so I'm legitimately going to go back to wrestling, fill up my whole position with that, bring in a bunch of cosplayers. And I'm going to have 100, 120 interviews this year. And guess what? You can either join or you don't. I can't. And if I'm not in your club and you don't find me valuable, guess what? I'll be here another year from now. I'll be here another year from now. I'll be here from another year from now. And you know what is? It just might be that you might be the opener right before I get a really big name, and I get whales, and I'm good at it. So you could either understand that maybe being in the club, it's not so cool anymore because I'm in VIP service all fucking day. See, no, better yet. Let me revise that. You might be in the club, but I'm gonna own the club. So while you're doing bottle service, I'm just gonna sit there looking like I'm on the outside, pretending that I'm not cool enough, but secretly smiling while I'm counting the money. See, isn't that what we want to do? It's like buying a bank.
That's just not my priorities, man. It's not my thing. I'm good.
No, all I want to do is that, again, I march to my own beat because I have to. And I'll ask you this. This is the final question I'm going to ask you before I let you promote yourself is, do you feel that you as a creator have to go by your own code? And what I mean by this is that you have to go and do what you think is right in certain circumstances, regardless of how people feel and what other people do to you or act or have done to you, because at the end of the day, you got to sleep at night.
Yes.
Do you feel that? Because that's how I feel, is that I have to go to bed at night. And if you screw me, I'm not happy about it. But if I could sleep at night, yeah, I got screwed. You don't forget, you move on, you deal with it. But what you do is that you don't deal with that person again. But I sleep fine at night because I have to go to bed at night, and I have to go to bed relatively peaceful as many nights as I possibly can. I don't know if you feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be me no matter what I am, no matter what anybody else around me is, or how they act and how they behave. And I'll try to be friends with as many people as I can, only because, well, I like talking to people. But and again, I've cut people out who have been absolute jerks and have proven themselves to be liars and untrustworthy people, thieves, some of them. But as long as I can say I'm good with whatever I've done, then that's all that matters. I helped where I could. I did what I could for others. That's all that matters, man. I'm good after that.
And then, obviously, I do want to give you a chance to promote yourself. So where can people find you, bother you, hit you up, disturb you, back your project? When is it launching? All that fun stuff.
Yeah, laughingrogue.com is the best way to find the books. I am on Facebook for a little while until I decide to give that pile up. And then Laughing Rogue PA on Twitter X. That's another good place to grab me. We are launching February 17th. So be ready to join Jake Bishop on his worldwide adventure of magic and horror. And I think you're going to have a good time.
And then obviously I've been saying it forever is that, you got to back projects, you got to support people, you got to check out what they're doing, and all that fun stuff. Social media is a big deal. Been saying it probably the last 13, 14 years, everything, and I'm not going to stop saying it. And then as far as I'm concerned, I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics on YouTube, Pop Anime Comics on TikTok. I do run an eBay store, and it is a big deal. So this is my eBay store, guys. Look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us on eBay at Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. The link is down below, so feel free to click that link. And I carry a lot of cool stuff. Obviously I carry cards like this in my store. I used to carry cards like this. I sold this one. I don't even know what my guy got, but I sold it. I don't have that card anymore, so that's great. I am so happy. But I still have these. I still have these around. Obviously talking about Boo Books. She's just Boo Brissa. I wanted to say that forever. But and then I do carry cards like this. Every once in a while where it is a 101, and I got a few of them up. I got a $1,500 card up in my store right now.
Nice.
Of, Boston Celtics dual auto, And so I carry stuff like that all the time, and stuff comes in and out. I got a Bucky Irving that's trading for 300 and it's up for bid right now. So if you're really into that and you're a fan of the Bucks, Pirates, because the Buccaneers a pirate and it's a 101, very cool card. So stuff like that comes across my desk all the time. And I do sell a lot of stuff. I also sell other things, and you never know what's going to come. Autos, parallels, base cards, and I sell everything from $4 cards all the way up to 1,500 plus cards, and then some other cool stuff. I sell comics, you name it, I've sold it, and I do give deals. So if you buy a lot from me, and if you're looking to buy like 5 graded comics, I'm always willing to do a deal. Shoot me a message. If you're looking for stuff, I've said this multiple times. First off, I move my merch around. So if you're looking for something and it's a card, feel free to shoot me a message, or a comic for that matter. If I got it, I will let you know. If I don't have it, chances are I know somebody who does have it, and I'm more than happy to put you in contact with said person, because I don't carry everything, or sometimes my stock is low and I know that it's difficult to get things. And I'm more than happy to direct you to places where you can, or attempt to get it. So feel free to shoot me messages on eBay. Don't shoot me messages if you're looking to buy stuff on Instagram, Facebook. That's not the place to do it. It's much easier to do it on Instagram, Facebook. But if you want to shoot me messages on my social media, just to talk about this show, anything else, or comics or anything, feel free to do that. Happy to do those, have those conversations there. But business conversations should be on eBay. It's just easier for me to manage it. It has nothing to do with anything else. There's no parameters on that. It's just easy to manage it on eBay, all in one place. It's also that I check that for business purposely. And I know every conversation is a business conversation on eBay, which is also really helpful. So please, if you're looking for stuff, don't bother me on social media. If you just want to talk about comics, happy to talk about Batman all day on Facebook. Happy to, but not on eBay. If you want to buy Batman, you can talk about that on eBay. But that's all I have to say. I appreciate everybody watching. So obviously that is a wrap, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for everybody who's watching in the future. And I will catch you in my next video / interview, which will be on Tuesday and on Wednesday, and then the next week after that. So definitely super stoked. And thank you so much, everybody. And have a good one, and have a safe night, and have a good January. And let's go Texans. Let's go Texans, right? Or the Broncos. I'm not too sure. But go football, go.